Yesterday, Raila was in Kericho and was addressing William Ruto. Welcome back to our channel. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Royal News Updates Media, the channel where you get all your trending politics. Now, yesterday, Raila was in Kericho and was addressing President William Ruto.
Perspective about political differences here and there, when it gets to a stage where Kenya is about to burn, we will say no. We must come together as one people. One people. And that's why we said and talked and I said we will work together for the unity of our people so that Kenya can move forward properly. You know, there's a serious challenge. We had ourselves gone out to the streets making some demands. But then we had sat down and we had discussed and negotiated and agreed on the way forward. Then, because there was no implementation, came the other problem again later on. So these problems must be resolved. This is what we have agreed on. When we signed the MOU, we agreed that these problems need to be resolved. And we're working towards resolving those problems. Finally, you've heard me recently talking about devolution. Devolution, we brought in the Constitution with a lot of opposition at that time. But we said that our country needs devolution so that we can bring power closer to the people and also ensure that there's equitable distribution of resources in the country. Devolution works very well in many countries. If you go to Japan, you will see what I mean by devolution. If you go to Germany, where I lived for many years, you will appreciate the power of devolution. If you dissolve properly and also put resources down there will be a development. What is happening here is that some of our people resist devolution because they don't understand the effect of devolution. Right now, we still have a problem. We have devolved generally. We have a structure of devolution, but we're not being resourced properly down so that these devolved units can work efficiently. You see, now they are saying, and the other time this week, they're saying that nearly 50% of money going to the counties is going to salaries, and that only less than 30% is going to development. But that is not the mistake of the devolved units. That's because less resources is coming down to the counties. If, for example, you release funds for infrastructure, funds going to Kura and Kera down here, if you release other funds meant for health, because health is a devolved function, but the bulk of the money is remaining up there in Nairobi. It's not coming down here. You see, if you release resources for agriculture, if, for example, you release money to build markets, because they are building markets there, yes, the counties are the ones who are operating those markets. Why don't you give the money to the counties? If, for example, affordable housing should be the responsibility of the counties, release the money to the counties. Then you will not be talking about 15%. You will be releasing over 35% of funds to the counties, and there will be development. You don't want to blame governors because you're not giving them resources. If you give the resources properly, the entire country will be working. Right now, the counties are employing people, experts, but there's no work for those people. They're sitting in the offices because there are no funds for them to work. So release the resources to the counties, and devolution will work for our country. This is what I'm saying all the time. And members of parliament have no business constructing roads. Members of Parliament have three functions: representation, legislation, and oversight. Period. Leave the issue of constructing roads to counties. The counties can have some responsibilities. This is what I wanted to say. I want to thank you very much.
Raila was actually addressing President William Ruto and addressing the issue of devolution further. It's like he was sending a message. The money is not actually coming to the counties. Instead, they opt for the resources to remain at the higher level. Most developmental issues are supposed to be handled at the county levels. Devolution is actually supposed to emphasize on development. So without the resources, there is no way they can actually have development at county levels. This draws us to our big question. Do you think President William Ruto is willing to support devolution? Because Raila Odinga and the whole of ODM have been insisting on devolution focus. Without money in the county levels, no developmental infrastructures can actually take place or go on. It's obvious Raila Odinga is addressing President William Ruto. Who else is in charge of giving the go-ahead to release resources to the county levels? That's a definite answer. And our big question is the broad-based government having problems? Because they clearly stated the reason why they are signing the broad-based agreement. One of the main reasons is the focus on devolution, which seems to me like President William Ruto is actually ignoring, because without sending money to the county levels, no development can take place. I've always told you Raila Odinga is a very smart man. Despite him supporting the government, he still has his ways of criticizing William Ruto's faults. It is clear to us that Raila Odinga is advocating for the devolution, while President William Ruto is trying to kill devolution. Well, what do you think? Is that analysis true? Because if William Ruto was actually advocating for devolution, the counties would be having money for development. Currently, as we speak, none of that is happening. Well, what do you think? Is the broad-based government under jeopardy with Raila Odinga advocating for devolution and President William Ruto totally against the devolution? Leave me your views on the comment section. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Royal News Updates Media, the channel where you get all your trending politics. JD Ishmaels.